So I was thinking, and it's definitely a hot topic that's going around the interwebs. So let's talk about it or ramble about it here for a little bit. Do Rand and Brian survive this disaster of a season to even make it to next year? Or are they going to be one and done? We'll dive into it after the intro. Hey, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Bonafide, and this is Section 240, a channel all about the Tennessee Titans, but from a fan's perspective. So, it would probably be an understatement to say that this season has gone the way we thought it would at the beginning of rookie minicamp. I mean, and we got some videos on the way that we're going to recap some of the moves that worked and some of those that didn't work after this season comes to a merciful end at the end of the month. Because of this, naturally the conversation between Titans fans is about Brian and Rand Carthon and whether or not they're going to be one and done as GM and head coach. And look, it's making the rounds around social media and all of that. But before we dive into that topic, if you want to support the channel and help us keep making videos like this one, go ahead and check out our merch shop on the website, www.section240.com/shop. And don't forget, until Sunday, the code Bonafide1K will get you 15% off any purchase in the shop as a token of my appreciation for helping the channel hit 1K. All right, I appreciate you. Now, the thought of one and done for head coaches isn't a crazy thing to believe. We've got several examples of coaches getting the axe after one season. I mean, some of these coaches are a mix of like NFL legends, and then there's some college coaches thrown in there. Like for instance, Pete Carroll was a one and done coach for the Jets back in '94. Probably some of y'all wasn't even ready to be born in '94, but we that. And then Ray Rose in 1999 for the I think the Packers. Shoot, even Mike Mularkey, yes, that Mike Mularkey was one and done in 2012 for the Sparkle Kittens. And more recently, we know about Urban Meyer in Jacksonville. So many great decisions by the Sparkle Kittens front office. It's great. And then you know about Nathaniel Hackett and the Broncos. So the idea of Callahan being given the boot is not like something strange. Now, Rand, on the other hand, there isn't a lot of precedence for a GM being given the boot after one bad season. Shoot, not even after two bad seasons. Remember, you got to remember as a Titans fan, John Robinson was kept instead of Mike Mularkey, even after Mike Mularkey took us to the playoffs. Now, we know why they let Mike Mularkey go, because he would not change the offensive coordinator from Terry Rubisky. In any case, we've seen terrible GMs keep their jobs for way longer than a coach. So it's kind of not the same. So this video is like, what do I think may happen? Now, honestly, this is just me. I think they keep both of them next season. Now, I don't have any inside information. I'm not connected to Nashville media. I don't have anybody on this side of the Titans organization. I'm just a regular fan. So I could get this absolutely wrong if I get an Ian Rappaport notification at the end of the season that Rand and Brian were let go together. But me personally, I don't see that happening for a myriad of reasons. Now, the first reason that I don't see this happening is money, all right? Since Amy Adams-Strunk has taken over as controlling owner in 2015, she has relieved the following of their duties. And this was outlined in a Titan-sized article that I'm gonna put in the description. So Rustin Webster, the GM, gone. Ken Wisenhunt, gone. Mike Mularkey, gone. John Robinson, we all know where he got gone. And then finally, Mike Vrabel. Now, in that article, they do a really good job of explaining that every time that she's fired somebody, so when she fired Mike Mularkey, when she fired John Robinson, when she fired Rustin Webster, it was always the right move. And she really didn't start getting questioned until the Vrabel firing, where people were like, oh, you should never fire Vrabel, things like that. Now, me, I strongly believe that was the right move, and that was always going to be the right move for a plethora of reasons. And man, did I bring my thesaurus out? I just used myriad and plethora. Look, you can call me studious in my research for these videos. All right, so now I think the main factor in this is money. It's got to be money. All right. Now, while I don't have any concrete numbers. I don't know how much or how long they were getting paid for, but all of these individuals had considerable contracts. I think Mike Mularkey may have been the only one that didn't have like a contract because he was fired before we were going to do the extension. But I think Vrabel at one point, it's rumored, if you look on Google and use AI, I know, he was making $9 million. Now, don't quote me on that, but what I'm trying to get at here is that sometimes there's language in those contracts to say, hey, if you terminate the contract, you still got to pay me out, X amount of dollars. Now, is this a major problem to somebody that's worth $2 billion? Probably not. But no successful business person likes paying for something that they are getting value from and they're not getting anything in return from. So she is probably still paying Mike Vrabel, still paying John Robinson. She might still be paying Mike Mularkey, although that was a while ago, so she might be done. So she might not want to do that again for Rand and Brian. Now, I will say this. It is also completely in the realm of possibility that she just wrote a check on the day of severance and never looked back. But we gonna go with the prior scenario than this, all right? Now, another reason why I feel like that Amy Adams-Strunk isn't going to fire Rand and Brian is stability. Firing Rand and Brian was signal to the fans, to the NFL, to people within Nashville, people within the owner circle, that this is another change in the leadership structure for the Tennessee Titans. And this would actually go against what she said in an introductory press conference when she hired Brian. Now, when she had that presser, she stated during that whole interview that during the second interview, they didn't want Brian to lead the building without him being the head coach, about how invested she was with him, how there was so much chemistry in the room, how she even related to Brian Callahan because her dad was the one that passed down the love for the NFL and football to her. And he has that in his coach and our offensive line coach, Bill Callahan. So when you say all that, you kind of have to put some stock in it. Now, I will be the first to tell you, that sounds great when everybody is 0-0 and everybody got a shot at the Super Bowl. But when you out of the playoff race and you're looking at a top 10 draft pick, do we still get the warm and fuzzy between them? And I'm gonna say yeah. Because, and I know you might disagree, but I think that win over the Texans was an important step, at least for me, when I think about, Callie's job security. Very rarely do you hear stories about owners getting emotional after wins, crying. But we all heard the story about Amy Adams-Strunk being tearful in the locker room after beating Houston. So we know that game, and that particular game, means a lot for her and her legacy. So if you don't think it have a factor, that would be foolish, And again, from all the pressures that we've seen with the players, it doesn't seem like Callie has lost the locker room. I don't see players quitting in the middle of the game. I see them coming back, fighting through injuries to continue pay. I know there's a paycheck. Don't get me wrong. I know there's a paycheck. But I don't see that happening. It ain't, especially not like what happened in San Francisco last night, where some dude just don't want to come play on the team because, he gonna have to go to a backup. I don't see that happening. So unless she was just feeding us a whole lot of BS, which is completely possible, I'm not throwing that out. I think she really wants some stability, especially knowing what's coming down the line. We got the stadium coming up, there's the new season, the draft is coming up. You don't want to be starting over and over and over again, all right? So I'm wrapping this video up. It wasn't going to be long, but I just wanted to give me my thoughts because, again, these aren't the only two factors. There's a multitude of things we could outline. Will Levis' regression as the QB. Some of the free agents not panning out either due to injury or not availability and things like that. But Jimmy Morris wrote a great article for Music City Miracles. You should be already following Music City Miracles, but because I've been following them ever since I got on Twitter. So yeah, it's been a while. But it sums up how I feel and my thoughts on it perfectly, especially this line that he put in there. He said, "I have no idea if Callahan will develop into a good head coach or not. but he deserves at least one more season as things stand right now. Constantly starting over is not a recipe for success in this league. And I couldn't agree more with that quote. Because if you look at other organizations that keep restarting, keep running over, that's they run into the problem. I look at the Bears as one particular franchise, and it's been documented that they constantly start over. You can't get any momentum, even in the tough times. You can't get any momentum, and you just keep repeating the same circle over and over and over again. So, I strongly believe that both Rand and Brian will be here next year to guide the Tennessee Titans. And I think Amy Adams-Strunk has already shown you that she's invested in this current regime more than she has been in the years prior to that. Now, again, if you look on social media, you look on Twitter, you listen to the radio shows, there is a notion that Amy Adams-Strunk should be more visible and should say more stuff to the public about the team to kind of provide clarity. Some say, other owners have done it, things like that, but and yeah, you probably could do that, but I kind of lean on her actions and her investment in this group, the spending that she did in free agency, the ability to, she has a conversation with Brian Callahan every Monday about the future of the team, and they've already said that she was on board with the plan. So she's kind of taking like that proverbial back seat to Rand and Brian to kind of get this thing figured out. Now, none of this, as I have said multiple times, with the exception of Levis taking a massive step back in his progression to being a QB1, this should have been expected. We were never positioned, given the sins of the regimes before, to be a playoff team. If you're being realistic with yourself, we were always going to be in this very position this season. So, my final thought is that Brian and Rand should be allowed to get another year, maybe two, if we see increases in the success next year. Hey, maybe next year we're 7-8, we're in the playoff hunt, and we don't make the playoffs, but we see improvement in the team. That we know, hey, with a couple more pieces, we can get back to where we were in 2018, 2019, early 2020. Now, who knows if that happens? It's only one person in the world that knows whether or not this is going to happen, and we happen to call her Miss Amy. All right, so all right, we out of here. We are back with Live from the Section on Sunday, live streaming the game, so you got to make sure you hop in with us and come in. We call it a therapy session until we get better on the football field, but it's a therapy session. It's good, man. Come on with us, check it out. Make sure you have your notification bells on. Like I mentioned before, check out the website. Get you some Section 240 merch. We got the promo code going. And make sure you locked in with us at the section. Make sure you like it. Make sure you comment it. Share below. This is one comment I want to put to you. Do you think Brian and Rand will be here next year? Yes or no? And tell me why in the comments. Maybe we'll have another follow-up video. Who knows? But this is what this is all about. So make sure you tell your fellow Titans fans about this channel. Because like I always say, there's plenty of room in the section for us all. Tighten up.